If your slides look like this, you've already lost your audience. Boring, linear, and forgettable. This is death by PowerPoint. No wonder people tune out. Today, I've partnered with Prezi to show you how to turn your ideas into a dynamic, visual story using Prezi AI. It's a storytelling shortcut that makes you the presenter that people remember. To get started with Prezi, use this link, or you can click the link in the description below. I'm David. Let's make your next presentation unforgettable. When you first log into Prezi, you'll find your main dashboard. This is your command center for all of your projects. In the left sidebar, you can create a new presentation and access your past projects, whether they're presentations, videos, or infographics. Today, we're 100% focused on presentations, so let me show you how you can create one in less than a minute. The first step is to click the giant Create with AI button in the header. There are two steps to Prezi AI. The first is to provide the title. This is important because it helps Prezi understand the topic you want to present. Here's a topic that I'm interested in. What if AI won't replace your job, but someone using it will? Click Continue to go to step 2. Here you can include content you want to cover in your presentation. You can type your own text or upload a PDF file. Later in the video, I'll show you how to optimize this step. Since we're just getting started, let's see what happens when we skip this step. Now, this will take a few seconds, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, our presentation is just about ready, but before we dive in, let's tweak the style a bit. I can start by modifying the color palette on the right-hand side of the screen. I'd prefer something a little lighter, so let's try this middle one. Next, I can change the design of the presentation. This changes what we see in the canvas, but it might not mean much to you if you're used to slides. It's easier just to show you, so let's click Go to the editor at the bottom of the page. Here's the presentation we got in under 1 minute. Let's see what this is all about by clicking Present in the top right and then Start Presentation. There are no slides in Prezi. Everything takes place in this visual open canvas. When you move to the next view using the arrow keys, you move around the canvas, zooming and panning to navigate from point to point. This helps you connect ideas visually, not just in an outline or an agenda slide. Let's take a look at how this is built. I'll press the Escape key to get back into edit mode. To zoom out to the entire canvas, you can either use your trackpad or your mouse wheel, or click the overview frame on the left-hand side of the page. Notice on the canvas we have one giant image that guides your audience from start to finish. And then you have frames, which you can access in the left sidebar, which are key sections of the presentation. You can then put smaller frames inside of the larger frames to cover details. It's an infinite canvas, so you can keep zooming into more frames if you'd like. Now, Prezi AI has given us a jump start on presentation structure and format, but that's not enough. You do need to review that the content and design matches your needs. To do that, let's walk through the most common things that you'll want to edit, starting with the content. Editing frames is like editing slides. You can select elements like text and images and move them around the screen. One cool thing is how Prezi handles text editing. Obviously, you can edit text by hand, but if you select it and click the Ask AI button, you'll get a number of bonus options. For example, I can turn this into bullet points. I can also do something more dynamic, like turn it into a visual list. This breaks down the content even more, which will usually make it easier to understand. But don't overdo the zooms because they can disorient your audience. Now let's say I've reviewed the content for this section and now I want to modify the structure. First, I can move frames around by dragging and dropping them on the canvas. If I don't like a frame, I can select it and press the delete key to delete it. If I want to add a frame, I'll select the frame before and then click the green Add Frame button in the top left. You can use the frame layouts to quickly get started with a new frame, or you can skip all that and do my personal favorite, copy and paste an existing frame. If you do that, make sure you notice that your frame gets added at the end of the presentation. To move it, you'll need to drag and drop it where you want it to go. Let's dive into this frame by double-clicking it and cover a few more things that you can edit. You saw text editing briefly before, but let's cover the rest of the options. Now, as expected, you can change the font, you can change the size, the font style, as well as the color and background color. You can also change the alignment, the line height, and letter spacing, as well as the list and indentation properties. And if you really want, you can also add animations. I don't personally recommend this because you're already animating in and out of frame with Prezi. Now, as presentation software, Prezi supports a lot of different media. You'll see everything you can add to your frame at the top of the screen. So I'll click Media to see my options. I can insert images, videos, stickers, GIFs, or GIFs if you like to pronounce it wrong, and a whole bunch of other things. Let's check out the image capabilities. Now, Prezi doesn't have image generation built in, but their search is AI enhanced. Let's put something about ChatGPT on this frame. Scrolling down a bit, and I found a good image right here. I'll click it to add it to the frame. Then I can get rid of the existing image by selecting it and pressing the delete key, deleting the rectangle it was in too, and then moving the image to where I want it. Now, before we move on, yes, you can collaborate with your teammates. To do that, click the share icon in the top right of the screen. Then you can add collaborators by their name or email address and select whether they can only present, edit, or comment. After sharing, you can click Done. Then you'll see your teammates' edits live on the canvas. Now remember we chose this color scheme before we saw this presentation? Let's say you looked at the whole canvas again by clicking the home icon at the bottom of the screen, and you decided you just didn't like it. You can change that color scheme by clicking on Style and then going to Colors. Here you have more options to change your color palette, and if you like, you can even create new ones. Now you can make a good presentation, but if you want to captivate your audience, you've got to step it up. So let me show you 3 tips I've learned from presenting at conferences and here on YouTube. Tip number 1, use a storytelling framework. What keeps us binging good TV shows? Good storytelling, but what does that really mean? Good storytelling has characters we relate to going through struggles and ultimately finding resolution. This is a classic framework of situation, complication, and resolution. Now, lucky for you, you don't need years of writing experience to do this. You can simply ask Prezi with a prompt like this. I'll include this in the description below so you can use it yourself. Here's the gist. Use this framework to tell the story of Alex, a marketing employee who fears getting replaced by AI. The presentation should take the audience through Alex's struggle, that's the complication, to find the right way to navigate this shift. Then end with Alex's discovery of how to upskill with AI to keep up. That's the resolution. Now I'll click generate and let's see the difference together. Now the presentation looks similar, but the content has changed dramatically. In this first section, we get an introduction to Alex's story. In the second section, we get a look at his struggles, including the fear of being replaced. And in the final section, we get to see how upskilling and completing training has given Alex new confidence. This is how you avoid a presentation of just facts, but you still can't harass your audience with a wall of text on every frame. That leads to tip number 2, ditch the text. Because vivid imagery and bold key points are more memorable, I'd start by just cutting this text. Then I'd remove every supporting design element until all that's left is the headline and the image. Then I'd extend this image across the entire frame. I'd then crop it so it doesn't leak out of the frame. But for the sake of time, the last thing I'd do is move the headline over so we create a better focal point on the frame. But we're not going to throw away that text completely. See, it's a good starting point for a talk track. So move the text to your presenter's notes instead. To do that, I'll click on the Notes button at the bottom of the screen and then paste my notes in that text box. Then when you present, instead of clicking Start Presentation, click Presenter View, and your notes, that text, will show up alongside your frame. Now the middle of your presentation is good, but what about the beginning? That leads to tip number 3, start with a hook. Imagine your presentation is an Instagram reel. What can you say to prevent people from mentally scrolling away from you? Here's my final tip for you to make this happen. In the top right corner of the screen, click the share icon to export your Prezi presentation to a PDF. Click the export button to confirm and wait for your presentation to download. Then head over to ChatGPT and upload your Prezi PDF. Then paste in this prompt, which you can get from the description. Based on the content of my presentation, what are 5 good hooks that I could use in the first 5 seconds? Let's see what comes up. Now, pretty quickly, we get 5 good hooks out of it. I encourage you to keep iterating like you would with a teammate until you find the hook that hits just right. Congratulations, you've just unlocked your unfair advantage, Prezi AI. Drop in a few ideas and it turns them into a stunning presentation in seconds. Now your job is to own the story. That's how you go from just another deck to a presentation that actually hits. Check it out using the link below. I'm David, and I'll see you in the next video.